Hey crypto traders, checking in on the space. It's been a week since we last checked in. We had some bull follow through since then and also some daily consolidation begin. And we also see signs of a healthy market in terms of rotation. I'll show you what those signs look like and we'll see where we stand in the short term. Key resistance level is in play. So here's the Bitcoin monthly time frame. We had a monthly bull break in terms of getting over the high of June at the end of July here. So for me, this is our monthly high or low being set. And that is now down at 28.6 thousand. And now we're scouting a monthly lower high. In the absence of news, a monthly lower high is the most likely scenario here. You would need notable increasing bull volume to V-shape to a new all-time high. At this point, we can be looking at our retracement levels and see what is the most likely scenario. So I'm going from our last little monthly high or low before the bull move took place, and we could see the pullback was 618 retracement, which is again another point in favor of a lower high being the most likely scenario. Now I want to know how much of the bounce have we retraced. I should say how much of the pullback. And we can see it's still 382. We need more than this. The bulls want to make their way up to the 50% and beyond retracement to favor an equilibrium. Because if this were to be the top of our bounce, then it would favor a lower high and lower low. And obviously we don't want to see that happen if we are bullish. We want to see 47,000 and beyond because 47,000 was our 50% retracement level. And if we get over the 50% retracement, that's when we scout that equilibrium to be the most likely scenario. We've been looking at a lot of growth names to have potential correlations and similarities. And again, NIO was a major name. And it looks certainly very similar with its consolidation, its hold of the EMA 12, and the monthly high or low is set, and we got notable follow through. What we don't want to see is what a USMJ name has done. This is a low cap name. Only reason I'm showing this is just to show you this is what the bulls do not want to see. Trying to remember here the ticker. You don't want to see this monthly high or low set, weak bounce, and then a lower low. That would confirm a monthly downtrend, and that would be notably bearish. We need to make our way to the upper 40,000s and beyond to have favor on that monthly time frame. So again, those are two very different scenarios. A weak bounce, and again, we can have our fib retracements here. How much did we bounce? Rejected from about the 40% retracement and dropped to a lower low. And we had NIO with its bounce retracement of 65% plus. So which is Bitcoin going to be? Can't say. All we can do is watch the shorter term time frames, the daily uptrends, and need follow through. If we lose the daily uptrend from here, it makes the bulls a little bit less comfortable, but it will still open up the possibility that we just keep weekly higher lows coming. Bottom line, more is needed. We need to get another leg up to the upper 40,000s. We're at a key resistance level. And here on the daily time frame, we can see we had a bull flag confirm. And then we saw another little bull flag on the 4-hour. But at that point, the bulls had lost their momentum. So here's a 4-hour higher high with zero follow through. And that led to consolidation. So resistance levels that we're watching, there's a number of things that we can be looking at. We can be looking at this ascending resistance line. And this is a bit of a megaphone pattern, as I pointed out in some of these crypto videos before. But bouncing off this downtrending support line, and here we are pulling back just under this resistance. So yesterday I came home from being away from the computer for 5 days and sat down and did my crypto video for members. And it shifted my game plan because I recognized this. And then I also looked back and said, okay, what other price levels do we got now? I see a trend line resistance level. I care more about price levels. And I see the high of the initial bounce. From the drop to 30,000, we bounced up to 42.6. And here we just pulled back from 42.6. That's a key level. That's the highest price that we've seen since the bears took over. And we've been trading within 30, or I guess we could say 28.8 and 42.6 thousand. We've been trading within those levels now for over 2 months, almost 2.5 months. So it's a double top at a price level, and it's a rejection just under an uptrending resistance line. I saw all that information. I had no plans on selling anything. And again, the swing positions that I'm in are from the breaks of 30,000, where I sold partial positions. I entered both Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I sold partial positions of both so that I could just set my stop under the low break even, trying for the monthly higher lows. So that trade has now worked out, but I exited a third of my Bitcoin position on the loss of this 4-hour support on the break of 41,000 because I had drawn up all these things and I said, okay, we're a little bit extended. We're at some key resistance. I'm going to take a little bit of profit. And that now has me a bit more comfortable. That dropped my exposure in terms of dollar exposure, pretty much 50-50 for ETH and BTC. I had more Bitcoin exposure before I exited 30%, and now they're directly down the middle even. So locked a little bit in. Will I re-enter? Maybe. If we see 4-hour oversold, I would certainly re-enter for a bounce play. Otherwise, I'm watching daily EMA 12 and daily support of 38.3 thousand. So 2 support levels lining up. And the last thing the bulls want to see is a loss of the daily uptrend at that double top and at that uptrending resistance line, because again, the monthly time frame needs more. So we need more than that. Bitcoin dominance chart dropping pretty notably. The weekly chart made a clear break, tightening range. Bull break with a lack of follow through means zoom out and scout a potential monthly bear flag. This is a potential monthly bear flag. And the last time we saw this move to a lower high and lower low, if you look at what the cryptocurrency space did in November and December, it was still pretty strong. So we topped out in December, but we went up November and December while the dominance chart saw this drop to a lower low. So if we see that lower high and lower low, in my opinion, again, I'm still of the mindset where as a cryptocurrency bull, I want to see altcoins leading the way. The only time I want to see Bitcoin leading the way for the entire cryptocurrency space is on a news reaction. So if BlackRock comes out and says they've got a $5 billion Bitcoin position, and then the Bitcoin dominance chart leads the way, that's just fine. And what we're seeing right now is why that is just fine. It's because we see Bitcoin lead the way, which it just did on this most recent leg up. But then we see its profits rotate around into our other altcoins, and they take turns. We saw some of our major altcoins follow quickly behind Bitcoin, and now we're seeing some of our laggards, which we'll look at in just a second here. But essentially, we had a big bull move up. You know, was there news related to this? Well, we had the Amazon rumor. We had the Bitcoin conference, or the call with Musk and Cathie Wood and Twitter, Jeff Dorsey. So that was a little bit of a catalyst. So news related, but this is a good sign because again, it's showing us rotation. So let's see what that looks like on individual names. ETHUSD is still a lead bull. It's up almost near its high. Daily consolidation has not started. And you can see it's much stronger than Bitcoin over the last 3 days. Bitcoin led the way up, and now we've been consolidating for 3 days, and the last 3 days, ETH is a lot higher. So that's a good sign. Profits rotating around. And again, rotation is the name of the game. If you watch our broader market videos where we are covering the stock market, we're talking about rotation all the time. And that has helped keep the bulls confident because you have the tech sector drop and you have the financial sector go up. And that's what's keeping the broader market up at all-time highs. It's just this constant rotation game. So we want to see rotation, which is what we're seeing right now. So ETH, what are we going to have to see for daily consolidation? We will have to see a loss of the 4-hour EMA 12 at a bare minimum. And that's been holding. You see we've been grinding it a little bit, but for the most part, it's been holding for the last 4 days or so. Anything under 2,700 is just a lower high. We would have to fail 2,700 and break 2,500 for daily consolidation to be underway. ETH BTC, great bounce off weekly support. Watch this equilibrium. It is picture perfect as far as its clarity, and it's likely going to break sometime in August, if not August, certainly September, and that's going to have significant implications into how we close the end of the year for ETH. So we bounced right off support, 5.5, bounced off 5.7, and now we're watching key resistance of 691. And if we reject from 691, it's just a weekly lower high, and we can continue tightening within this range for another few weeks. So a key resistance level is approaching, keeping an eye on it. We also haven't confirmed a daily trend change yet. Plenty of space for the daily high or low. but we're heading up towards that resistance a bit extended on the daily chart, just in the sense that we haven't confirmed a trend change yet. But great clarity on the weekly time frame. And I didn't sell any ETH because of its strength relative to Bitcoin. And that's why I chose to take some profit in Bitcoin, didn't touch ETH. So Litecoin, this was a chart that I drew from the video yesterday. It's a falling wedge. We're watching for the laggards now, the weaker names. Remember the last bull run that we had before we topped out at all-time highs? We had the crypto space running hard. We had Litecoin and XRP doing nothing. And then they took their turn. And we can see that here on this chart. Here they are doing nothing. Here's another falling wedge. And then, so let's just look at it as a comparison. Bitcoin was running October all the way to April. So 6 months of bull run. October to April. So Litecoin was weak and dropping comparative to Bitcoin all the way to March. That's 5 months of that bull move. Just weaker, 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 weaker. And then the last end of that leg up, that's when the laggards took hold and they took their turn. And it was short-lived and they didn't hold those gains, but it was a laggard bull move. And again, it was Litecoin and XRP doing it at roughly the same time. So we started that move early April. XRP BTC started its move, and the real one early April. So here we are now with a daily falling wedge trying to break bull. Need to clear 377 resistance. So a lot of proving still to be done, but keeping an eye out for it to act as a bit of a laggard, as it's been, again, complete bear control for the last few months. So we're keeping an eye on LTC BTC. We're keeping an eye on XRP BTC, which confirmed the daily trend change, but it's lacking follow through right now. And BCH BTC, same deal. Daily trend change confirmed after bears have had complete control now. So rotation. We're seeing a little bit of inflow into our weakest names, weakest comparative to Bitcoin over the last 3 months. And the question is, can there be any follow through on these moves? Link BTC was another example. Again, just long drawn out falling wedge, and it is getting that follow through. This bull break took place 4 days ago, and this is what every chart that we just looked at, bulls want to see it look like this as far as multiple days of follow through and just showing it continuing to gain against Bitcoin. So these are our laggards trying to see rotation. AXS USDT has been trading in its own world a little bit. And it seems like it's more inverse to Bitcoin more often than not. Bitcoin pulls back and it's up 7%. Bitcoin's green and it's down 5%. But what we're watching for at this point on the daily time frame, so looking at the weekly chart, we know we're due for some longer term consolidation. We went 500% in 5 weeks. So we're watching for what's an indication that weekly consolidation is coming. We have our high, daily high or low, higher high with the lack of follow through, daily high or low trying to form again as long as we hold 35. It's currently a daily inside bar today. If the inside bar breaks bull, a new higher low will be set, and aggressive bears will be scouting a daily lower high compared to 53.50 to try and set up a daily head and shoulders into weekly consolidation. So that's a potential bear trade to be keeping an eye on. Aggressive ETH bears are also keeping an eye out, but there is no clear entry signal at this point that I'm looking at. We've got 2640 as resistance. We broke that. So 2700. And really with Bitcoin close to forming a daily higher low, or I should say attempting to form a daily higher low. Still a lot of work to be done. It's a 4-hour bear flag with a lack of follow through, which is an inverse head and shoulders attempt. This is the 2-hour time frame for clarity. Left shoulder, head. If we fail to break 40.5 thousand, it's just a lower high. And then we need to set up the trend change for the inverse head and shoulders. Got something in my throat. For the inverse head and shoulders to try and set up the daily higher low. So that's a short-term pattern to be looking at for a daily higher low. But the bottom line is not confident trying to short ETH, because if Bitcoin gives us a daily higher low and heads back over 40,000 into tomorrow, even if ETH BTC starts pulling back a little bit, we'll expect ETH USD to remain in control of the bulls. So don't see a clear bear entry I like there. Bitcoin had a bit of a clear bear entry as far as a top fishing play. We'll be watching AXS USDT for a daily lower high. Overall, bullish the cryptocurrency space. There's no red flags at this point. Going to continue watching diligently to ensure that there are no red flags that form for the bulls. And otherwise, I'm just sitting patiently. Maybe I'll trade some bounce plays. If we drop to 4-hour oversold, I will add some position and look to play that short-term move. But otherwise, I'm just very comfortable in my long-term no touch and my swing position. I would have liked a larger swing position to get a bit more aggressive if we got a daily high or low here, but we didn't. So just have to be satisfied with the position that I have. And it's a very solid gain at this point. Even if it's a small position, when you're going up 30 to 40%, it's still very worthwhile. So let's see if we can keep that daily uptrend going, because we do not want signs of our monthly lower high to be set this quickly. Feel free to ask any questions. Don't forget to do good things out there. We'll wrap it up here. I thought I took some more video in Colorado. Some of it got deleted or something. First place I stayed was an Airbnb up on a mountain, and it was a really cool earth ship home that was built into the side of a hill. So composting toilet and solar and all that, and pretty cool. It was actually right in the middle of a heat wave, so the fact that it was built into the side of a hill made it nice and cool inside. And there was some cool plants and terrarium stuff set up, but I don't know where that clip went that I filmed. Other than that, it was just extremely quiet, which was awesome. Just sit outside, and aside from a few birds, there was just no noise whatsoever. So it was away from the charts. Well, I had my phone, and I checked it once or twice a day, but I was away from my computer for 4 days, which is the longest it's been in a few years. So it was a nice little reset, and ready to get back into it. And over the next couple days, show you some hikes and such. Have a good day.